It was supposed to be just another school visit. Former President Bill Clinton had done hundreds over the years, but nothing could have prepared him for what happened inside that dusty Arkansas gymnasium. A 13-year-old boy stood up, nervous, shaking, and said 9 words that made Clinton freeze. What he revealed next forced the former president to question everything he thought he knew about America's future. The bleachers creaked under the weight of students and teachers as sunlight streamed through cracked windows of Pine Ridge Middle School's old gym. Former President Bill Clinton adjusted his tie, smiling as he took the stage. He was back in his home state of Arkansas for the Project Elevate Education Tour, a national campaign to improve STEM programs in underfunded schools. The crowd clapped politely. Some kids looked excited, others bored. Among them sat Jamie Dawes, a quiet 13-year-old with sandy hair and a notebook full of sketches and equations tucked beneath his chair. Jamie's shoes were scuffed, and his hoodie had a tear at the sleeve. He wasn't the loudest kid, or the top of the class, but he was something else entirely. Something not even he fully understood yet. Clinton's voice echoed warmly across the gym. Project Elevate isn't just about better classrooms, he said. It's about unlocking the minds that will shape the future. Maybe even the next president or scientist is sitting right here today. Some kids giggled. Jamie didn't. He was too focused on what he had come to do. For weeks, he'd been studying the blueprints of Project Elevate's new Smart Desk system, a Clinton Foundation initiative aiming to bring interactive learning desks to rural schools. The plan was ambitious: touchscreen panels, AI tutors, solar power integration. It sounded like magic, but Jamie had found something no one else seemed to notice. A flaw. A subtle, but critical, design vulnerability in the system's cooling algorithm. If left unchecked, the desk units could overheat and shut down during peak hours, especially in southern states like Arkansas, where summer temperatures soared. His math teacher had dismissed his concerns. The local school board never replied to his letter. So now he was here, waiting, listening, preparing. When Clinton opened the floor to questions, Jamie's heart thudded so loudly he could barely hear. He stood, hands trembling. "Mr. President," he called out. Clinton's eyes scanned the crowd. "Yes, young man." Jamie's voice cracked at first. I think there's a problem with Project Elevate's desk system." The gym hushed. Someone snickered. A teacher whispered, "Sit down, Jamie." But Clinton raised his hand. "No, let him speak," he said. "Go ahead, son." Jamie swallowed hard. The solar-integrated desks, they're using a passive cooling system paired with a high-output AI chip. But that chip produces more heat than the ventilation protocol can handle. If the temperature exceeds 92 degrees Fahrenheit, which it often does here, the desks will auto-shut for safety. That means they'll fail when students need them most, Clinton finished, his brow tightening. Jamie nodded, pulling a folded printout from his notebook. "I ran simulations. They crash within 48 minutes under direct sunlight. I think you need a thermal loop or an active fan component, or maybe switch to a different chip series. I outlined some options here." He handed the paper to a stunned aide, who passed it to Clinton. The room was dead silent as Clinton scanned the notes. His jaw clenched slightly. "Who are you?" he asked. "Jamie Dawes, sir. 8th grade." Clinton turned back to the crowd. "I've had engineers from MIT and Caltech look at this project, but none of them spotted what Jamie just did." His voice was calm but serious. "This isn't just a smart observation. It's a lifesaver." Murmurs rose around the gym. Phones came out. Teachers stared. Clinton stepped off the stage and walked toward Jamie. "Would you be willing to share your findings with my tech team in Little Rock?" he asked. Jamie nodded, stunned. Clinton looked around the room again. "Let this be a lesson. Sometimes the smartest voice isn't the loudest, and sometimes it comes from a dusty gym in the middle of nowhere." The students applauded, not because they were told to, but because something real had just happened. As the session ended, Clinton's aide pulled Jamie aside. "He wants to meet with you. Privately. Tomorrow morning." Jamie gripped his notebook tightly. He had come here to speak up, but now he was stepping into something far bigger. What he didn't know was that this moment would launch him into the heart of America's most controversial education overhaul and put his name on every headline in the country. Jamie Dawes sat across from Bill Clinton at a corner table inside a quiet diner in Little Rock, Arkansas. The restaurant was closed to the public that morning. No waiters, no reporters, just the soft hum of a ceiling fan and the occasional clink of a coffee cup. Clinton wore no tie this time, just a navy blazer over a white shirt, sleeves rolled back. His face, usually smiling for cameras, was serious now. "I read your notes 3 times last night," Clinton said, holding Jamie's printout in one hand. "You weren't guessing. You were right." Jamie's fingers toyed with a spoon. "I just didn't want people to get excited about something that might break." Clinton gave a half-smile. "Well, most people your age don't even care how things work. But you," he paused. "You don't just see the parts. You see the system. That's rare." A silence hung in the air before Clinton leaned in slightly. "Jamie, I need your help. Not just with this chip issue. I want you to come work with my development team. Just a few hours a week. We'll keep it flexible. You'll still go to school, see your friends. But we could use your brain." Jamie blinked. "Work for you? Like officially?" Clinton chuckled. "Unofficially. For now. We'd call you a youth advisor. Confidential. Nothing goes public unless you want it to." It was overwhelming. A week ago, Jamie was just another kid eating microwave dinners and avoiding eye contact in the halls. Now, the former president of the United States was asking him to fix the foundation of a nationwide education reform. Jamie looked down. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course. Why didn't your engineers catch the flaw? The heat thing. It's pretty basic." Clinton hesitated, his fingers tapping the tabletop. They didn't miss it because they weren't smart. They missed it because they were rushing. Pressure to launch early. Funding deadlines. Media expectations. Sometimes in big systems, corners get cut. Jamie frowned. "Is that safe?" "No," Clinton admitted. "And that's exactly why I need someone like you." A few hours later, Jamie returned home to find 2 news vans parked outside his house. A neighbor waved nervously. His mom stood on the porch, phone in hand, a look of panic on her face. "Jamie," she whispered, pulling him inside. "What did you do?" What do you mean?" "They're saying your name on TV. One of the reporters said you embarrassed a former president. Another called you a whistleblower." "But I didn't." Jamie's voice broke. "I didn't mean to embarrass anyone." The next day, headlines flooded the internet. 8th grader exposes flaw in national education tech rollout. Clinton's Project Elevate faces scrutiny after teen's revelation. Who is Jamie Dawes, and why is he smarter than everyone else? His inbox exploded. His phone buzzed nonstop. Messages from strangers, some praising him as a genius, others accusing him of setting the project back. Kids at school either avoided him or whispered as he passed. His teacher stared with a mix of pride and confusion. Jamie barely spoke at dinner that night. His mom made spaghetti, but he couldn't eat. The pressure was suffocating. That evening, Clinton called. "I'm sorry, Jamie. I didn't mean for this to go public. We're trying to contain it." Jamie nodded into the receiver. "I don't care about being famous. I just wanted to help." "I know you did," Clinton said softly. "And you still can. But this got big fast. There's something I think you should see. A full report. About who's really funding Project Elevate." Jamie's pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" "I'll send you a document. Off the record. I want your honest opinion." When the file arrived, Jamie opened it on his old laptop. Inside were donor logs, subcontractor names, technology patents, and one logo he didn't expect to see. Dynacore Industries. He remembered it from a science magazine. A private defense contractor known for developing AI systems for surveillance and battlefield deployment. Why would a defense firm be involved in classroom tech? Jamie read further. One patent in particular caught his eye. A learning behavior tracker embedded into touchscreen devices. The document described how the AI could adapt lesson plans in real time, but also record voice input, scan facial expressions, and upload user data to a remote server. He leaned back, heart pounding. This wasn't just about teaching kids. It was about watching them, and Clinton had asked for his opinion on it. Jamie couldn't sleep that night. The file from Clinton lay open on his laptop, its black and white text glowing faintly in the darkness. The words blurred together, but one phrase pulsed in his mind like a warning siren. Behavioral data pipeline. Passive consent through software terms of use. He didn't know all the legal jargon, but the meaning was clear. The smart desks would collect information about students, how they talked, how they looked, how fast they solved problems, and send that data to servers owned by a private company. And buried deep in the software agreement, pages no one ever reads, it was already authorized. At school the next morning, Jamie kept his head down. The cafeteria buzzed with whispers. A few kids tried to talk to him, but he just nodded politely and returned to his sketches. Every desk, every screen, every touch point, they all looked different now. Not like tools, but traps. When he got home, Clinton's aide was waiting in a black SUV outside the Dawes house. "He wants to see you," she said simply. Jamie hesitated. His mother stepped outside, lips pressed tight. "Jamie, are you okay?" He nodded, clutching his notebook like a shield. Inside the Clinton Foundation's Little Rock office, the lights were dim. Clinton sat alone, elbows on a conference table, the file Jamie had reviewed resting in front of him. "You read it?" he asked. Jamie nodded slowly. "Yeah. What do you think?" Jamie's voice trembled but held steady. "I think it's wrong." Clinton leaned back, exhaling. "I thought you might say that." "Is this why the desks don't have offline mode?" Jamie asked. "So you can keep the data flowing?" Clinton's face tightened. "Jamie, listen to me. This isn't some evil scheme. The data helps the AI learn faster. It personalizes lessons. If a student is falling behind, the system flags it. It can even detect early signs of learning disorders, stuff most teachers miss. But it also listens." Jamie shot back. "It watches. Without permission." Clinton rubbed his temples. "Do you know how hard it is to get funding for rural schools? The federal budget barely moves. Companies like Dynacore fund these initiatives because they want to test next-gen software in real environments. They get research. We get education reform." Jamie stared at him. "So kids like me, we're just experiments." "No," Clinton said quietly. "You're pioneers." Jamie's hands clenched. "Did you know about this from the start?" Clinton paused, then nodded. "Not every detail. But I knew Dynacore had strings. I tried to minimize them." The room was silent. Finally, Clinton slid a folder toward Jamie. "There's an internal vote next week, whether to fully activate the monitoring features or keep them dormant. My team is split. I want your vote in that meeting." Jamie blinked. "What?" "You've earned a seat at the table, Jamie. Your vote could tip the balance." He left the office numb, notebook pressed to his chest. That night, he sat with his mom at the kitchen table. She listened carefully as he explained everything. Dynacore, the tracking software, the vote. Her eyes widened. "They want your vote." "I don't know what to do," he whispered. "If I vote yes, maybe it helps kids learn faster. If I vote no, they might pull the funding. No smart desks. No science labs. Nothing." She reached out and took his hand. "You already know what's right. The hard part isn't figuring it out, it's doing it anyway." The next day, he returned to the foundation. The boardroom was filled with adults in suits, tech developers, education consultants, even a former secretary of education. And now one eighth grader. Clinton nodded as Jamie entered. "Let's begin." After a 40-minute debate filled with charts, projections, and polished language, Clinton stood. "We'll take a vote. Activation of learning analytics and behavior tracking. Yes or no?" One by one, the hands went up. 5 yes. For no. Everyone turned to Jamie. He stood, notebook still in hand. "I think what you're building is incredible," he began. "But no one should be watched without knowing it, not even kids. Especially not kids." He paused, heart pounding. "My vote is no." The room went quiet. Clinton looked at him. Not angry, not proud, just thoughtful. "Motion denied," he said finally. "The tracking stays off." Jamie sat down, shoulders heavy. But deep inside, He felt something settle. He had spoken up. Again. And this time, he hadn't just spotted a flaw. He'd stopped it. It started with a headline: Teen Advisor Block Surveillance Feature in Clinton's Education Project. By lunchtime, it was everywhere. News anchors repeated Jamie Dawes' name like a buzzword. Opinion pieces exploded across the internet, some hailing him as a brave whistleblower, others accusing him of sabotaging educational progress. He hadn't told anyone. Not his mom. Not his teachers. Not even his best friend Milo. But someone had leaked the vote, and his name was right there, bold and underlined. At school, things got weird. The principal pulled him out of class to check on how he was doing. A teacher asked if he wanted to talk to a counselor. One girl whispered as he passed in the hallway, "There's the surveillance kid." Jamie wanted to disappear. When he got home, his mother was already on the phone with a journalist, her face pale, her voice tight. She hung up and turned to Jamie. "They want you on national TV, honey. CNN, NBC, all of them." "I didn't ask for this," Jamie said, his voice cracking. That evening, he found an envelope on their doorstep. No return address. Inside, just a single sheet of paper. "Be careful what you kill, Jamie. Some of us have a lot riding on this." No signature. Just that line. His stomach turned. Later that night, Clinton called. His voice was calmer than Jamie expected, but quieter too, almost tired. "I'm sorry this got out," he said. "We're investigating the leak." "People think I shut down the whole program," Jamie muttered. "You didn't," Clinton replied. "You helped it grow in the right direction. But powerful people don't like being told no, especially by a 13-year-old. Jamie stayed quiet. "I'll understand if you want to step away," Clinton added. "This isn't what we planned." But Jamie surprised himself. "No," he said. "I'm staying." Clinton paused. "Why?" Jamie stared at his open notebook, the page where he'd once written, "Fix the desk problem." Now it read, "Fix the system. Because if I leave, they'll make someone else say yes." The Capitol building was colder than Jamie expected. Its marble halls echoed beneath his sneakers as he followed a congressional aide through corridors lined with portraits and flags. A folded copy of his notebook was tucked inside his blazer pocket. His tie, borrowed from his uncle, hung slightly crooked. He wasn't here as a tourist. He was here to testify. The hearing room buzzed with quiet tension. Cameras rolled. Reporters whispered. On the dais sat a panel of senators, including some who had publicly criticized Project Elevate's delays after Jamie's vote blocked the surveillance features. Across from them, Jamie took his seat behind a wooden nameplate. Jamie Dawes, Student Advisor, Clinton Foundation Initiative. He glanced to the left. Clinton sat there silently, arms crossed, watching. A senator with steel-gray hair adjusted his microphone. "Mr. Dawes," he began, "you're 13. "Yes, sir." "And you believe your personal opinion should overrule years of research and millions in development funding?" Jamie's hands tightened. "No, sir. I believe students deserve to know when they're being watched." A pause. Murmurs behind him. Another senator leaned in. "You're aware your vote caused several donors to withdraw. That dozens of schools are now delayed in receiving new technology." Jamie took a breath. "Yes, but what good is better tech if it violates trust? Education is about more than tools. It's about respect." The room quieted. He opened his notebook and slid it across the table. "I reworked the software plan," he said. "This version still collects performance data to help teachers, but it leaves out facial tracking, voice recording, and location logs. And it requires students and parents to opt in." Clinton looked up, surprised. The panel skimmed the sketch. One of the aides blinked. "Who helped you design this?" "No one," Jamie said. "I stayed up late." Another pause. Then something unexpected. Applause. Not from the senators. From the gallery. Parents. Teachers. Students. And somewhere in the crowd, Jamie spotted a familiar face. Emma, the girl from the youth innovation team Clinton had once mentioned. She gave him a thumbs up. By evening, his proposal had gone viral. Team redesigns national edtech policy in Congress testimony. The Clinton Foundation released a statement supporting Jamie's revised model. Dynacor went silent. Several senators announced bipartisan support for a new Student Data Bill of Rights. The threats stopped. The cameras faded. But something bigger remained. Weeks later, Jamie stood in front of his class as their new science club leader. He was still awkward, still quiet, but now people listened. He no longer felt like the smartest kid in the room. He felt like the bravest, and that made all the difference. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and press the like button.